Hi, and welcome to another episode of BNU Noise Makers with me, Peter, and I'm joined today by
Joe Saunders.
Joe Saunders. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Excellent.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Joe, tell me a little bit about your experience at Bucks. What course did you do?
I did audio and music production.
Lovely.
I graduated in 2020,
2020. Lovely.
so a few years ago.
Yes. So you were affected by coronavirus at the time, were you?
Yeah, I got it a few times.
Yeah, lovely. It's a shame, isn't it? And how does it feel to be back? Yeah.
It feels great. It feels like, I'm from the area, so it's easy to get to.
You walk past the building often, do you?
Yeah, big blue building.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, it's comforting actually.
Comforting, yeah.
It is comforting.
Nice.
You got to, it was low pressure when you were sort of experimenting here, whereas it's more difficult to do that when someone's paying you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you're up to at the moment, Joe, and your experiences since graduating in 2020.
Yeah, I'm a full-time freelance sound engineer, audio engineer. Worked with artists like Chasing Status, Jessie Ware, who else? Bjork, Will Young, and most recently, touring monitor engineer for Jess Glynne.
Lovely. And you just got back from America doing that tour?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Were you,
America and Europe.
you were on monitors for that, were you? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Very good.
Very lucky.
Yeah, that's great. Have you got any special memories at this university at all with your time then? Because you were 2017 you started, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which is a long time ago now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I think I'm getting old. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, 2017, it was a lifetime away, wasn't it? But obviously you had a good group, didn't you?
Had a great group.
Yeah.
Met a really, really very like-minded people. We did everything together for those years and got to just, like I said, experiment with everything that was in the whole, everywhere.
Yeah.
Doing like things at the football, doing like, there's all sorts to do.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, really just threw ourselves in and just got experimenting, got learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So what was the student experience for you like to think of Bucks? Do you think?
It's going to be tough one to answer.
But the thing for me was obviously I graduated in 2011, and it was a local university to me, so we've got something in common there.
Yeah.
But the class sizes, we're a village compared to the city universities, and how many people do you have in your class?
I think there was probably like 15 of us, which I think, I don't know the stats, but it's actually quite big for now. Or am I wrong there?
Well, yeah.
For just audio music production.
Yeah. There's
obviously
we've
more.
expanded some more courses to be more niche, and then we put, so it's about we have about 40 combined now in the first year.
It was nice because you got we got lots of interaction with similar courses around us, like a lot of interaction with like people doing film, and then a lot of interaction with people doing the musician course as well.
Yeah.
Use those to record, and like if some of us in a group weren't as musically talented as we'd like to be, we could what's the word?
Collaborate.
Yeah,
Force.
A bit like force them to come and play music for us because they got marked on it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a nice everyone wins type situation.
So what kind of lectures were you in? Every week. What was sort of you in?
You asked me for my weekly schedule.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
We had live sound lectures down in the venue.
Yeah.
And we had the music industry. We did sound for film and TV.
Yeah.
Studio work, and we did something else. I personally always veered towards the venue.
Yeah.
And I worked at the Students' Union as a technician while I was here as well, which was really beneficial for me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Getting a hands-on experience, working with artists.
Yeah.
Working with
at what point did you get to the SU? At what point were you in the SU?
Well, it was Dan Peters spoke to me after a couple of lectures in my first year and said, just say yes to everything. And that stuck with me a lot.
Yeah.
Say yes to everything. Any opportunity you get, just say yes and do it. Give it a go.
Absolutely right.
Got to do that in this world.
Brilliant.
And then he set up a meeting with me with Jamie Alexander at the time, who was the venue manager. I did a couple of trial shifts. I think they had a huge they had a huge tech team at the time, so I didn't get in.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's because they had too many people rather than I wasn't good enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then beginning of my second year, I joined and had just a really good time.
Yeah.
Met more fellow students
Yeah.
that were just amazing, friends for life.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's a good opportunity then, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, there's all sorts going on. All over the place.
Yeah. And do you think your experience in those live lectures and plus the SU experience has sort of brought you to where you are now? Then?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a local company called Southby Productions,
That's
audio
right.
company,
Yeah.
who there's like a lineage of people who have been to Bucks, and because they're based in High Wycombe, go to Bucks, do some shifts at their warehouse, and they're what sort of introduced me to the world of freelancing post COVID, and trusted me to go out with some of these artists to get my foot in the door and to make my own connections and to.
We had a couple of people from Southby come down to meet me and Brett, and the lecturer and chair.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make the partnership official because they've got so many Bucks University students that have been through them.
Yeah.
Going back to coursework, can you talk to me about, what I want to know is what your toughest piece of coursework was at university,
Oh.
and then what you got the most from a piece of coursework. So those two.
I gained a lot of knowledge in the first year, where we were doing like the basics of like deconstructing sine waves and turning them into like
Brilliant.
like the fundamentals and the basics and the Fourier transform stuff around like square waves.
Adding different harmonics.
Yeah, exactly. To find out how to make those things, and then those sort of like shorter 1,000-word essays on those. I mean, I've never enjoyed writing essays myself.
Yeah.
But it was the whole the process of like deconstructing the basics of like SPL. I learned a lot at the time.
There's a lot of science there, isn't there?
There is a lot of science,
and
although
it's quite helpful for us to understand it, isn't it? Even as creatives.
Yeah, although it's a BA course, having that sort of scientific basis was very helpful going forward.
Yeah, lovely.
Coursework I enjoyed the most was probably the studio sessions where we kind of were just allowed to make something.
Yeah.
Whether it was in replicating a producer's sound or a band's sound, or that was fun because you got to just be in here for hours and hours, just recording snare drums in however way you wanted to, and then
The university studios look a bit different now.
This one does.
So when you
big time.
So when you were there.
Yeah.
So what do you think of it now then?
It's a bit jealous.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm a bit jealous that it wasn't like this
I'm sorry.
or analog when I was here.
Yeah.
But I'll have to ask you for some time.
Yeah. Well, you've had some time, haven't you? You've done some stuff. You've had some stuff.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. It was one of the big reasons, even back 8 years ago when I started. That was a big factor for me to come here. I'm from the area, and I was looking at a lot of like different universities, but the fact that these spaces were here was almost just like it would be silly to go anywhere else for me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You've answered almost all my cards, but
I'm enjoying this actually.
Yeah, good. I'll write some more. The next card I think is quite important because we've covered it a little bit, but just this idea of just talk to us a little bit about how the university has helped you in your career so far. I mean, obviously there's the obvious stuff like the things that you've learnt from the university and lectures and the experiences you've had, but to be a student that's graduated in a degree, what's it like out there in the industry when you've got a degree, versus not, is there
You're not going to like my answer.
No, go on.
I don't think a degree is necessary at all.
Yeah.
It's not necessary at all.
Yeah.
For the work I do especially.
Yeah.
Which is just completely freelance, word of mouth, like you've kind of got to just get out there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think the massive benefit that I found is just the opportunity and the freedom that I got for 3 years to kind of just experiment and get stuff wrong.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Like get like loads of stuff wrong, and then have the lecturers like yourself and Jer and Dan's not here anymore, but like that to sort of like then steer you in a in a direction.
Yeah.
In a direction.
I think it's the opportunities that you create for yourself as a student, isn't it?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, you've got to just come in and kind of bully your way around a little bit if you want to utilize the time and the money that is here for you to use, because you know, I can't even think how much all this equipment costs, let alone the time to use it and the space. And so we kind of, myself and my friends and business partners, just kind of came in and sort of got our elbows out a little bit, and we're like, we're going to just use the space for what we can while we're here, because we're not going to get this opportunity again.
Yeah. And I presume you booked it more than most, did you?
We were in here a lot.
Yeah.
We were in here in a whole lot. I lived just like a 1 minute walk away, 2 minute walk away. So I'd just come in whenever it was free.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'd just record bands. We'd always be looking for independent artists to come in and just record in this room, especially.
I think that's the other thing as well, isn't it? The fact that you've got that free position, haven't you? Nobody's under any financial obligation to get a job over the line here. You're just learning how to use equipment, how to work with people, how to produce people, and how to
hit deadlines as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like having those deadlines to hit, because otherwise you feel like you've let your lecturer down if you don't hit the. It is a self-guided, self-moderated kind of place, which is exactly what it's like being a freelancer.
Yeah.
So it was good training, good practice.
Yeah.
But but in terms of the actual degree,
it's a piece of paper.
Personally, I think the experience for me was so much more beneficial than and gaining the trust of people to be like, oh, he's done university, so he can look after himself and he can do it. So we can trust him to go and trust him with a job that has our name on it.
Do you think there is benefit in being on your CV then? Do you think it has helped you?
I haven't had to create a CV since getting my degree, I'll be honest. I've been lucky to be busy and to have a good good relationships with companies.
But people must know you've done a degree because you know them.
Yeah, I think the guys at Southby knew that I'd.
We're part of Buckinghamshire University. Yeah, absolutely.
So they knew that I could kind of see something through.
Okay, what I'd really like to get from you is some advice here, because obviously I've got people looking to join the courses at the university, but I've also got people who are current students. And so, what kind of advice do you think you would give to either of those two parties? I mean,
gosh, I think take the opportunity, with both hands, because it is, sounds very cliche, but it is once in a lifetime, unless you do multiple degrees.
Yeah.
But then you've got that added money to pay. But having that time, take the time to just dive into things that you never thought you'd enjoy. As well. My regret would probably be that I didn't spend enough time doing the sound for vision stuff. I kind of just did the bare minimum on that because I was so enamoured by the live sound and the miking up a band and getting all that stuff that I didn't spend enough time on that on the sound for vision stuff. And I haven't really got an opportunity to do that now because I'm kind of doing my thing.
So tell me a little bit about the industry and what it's like at the moment then. So you've obviously done a few years since graduating. And you've got some good names under your belt there, haven't you? And doing different job roles. So obviously your last job role was monitoring engineers, but presumably you've done other types as well.
For Bjork was completely different. It was just flying PA across Europe. And it was a soundscape rig, so it was so it was 360 D&B soundscape. So we had 7 hangs across the front, and I did that with another graduate, Jack Blenkinsop, who kind of took me under his wing for that. He does stuff for Niall Horan and all of that stuff. So that's the responsibilities for being a PA tech is completely different to being a monitor engineer.
Absolutely.
And it's also different from being a patch engineer, which I've done for other artists as well. But then also, you've got to do the hard yards in a production company, in the warehouse when it's cold, wrapping cables, cleaning cables, you've got to do everything like that before and during. Well, like, otherwise you're not really creating any trust from companies like that.
There is still a bit of a sort of position of working your way up, then, isn't there?
Oh yeah, you can't just go in and do the things you want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're coming to do audio music production, you want to mix, you want to be an engineer, but unless you get very lucky, then you can't just straight away go out and mix. You've got to clean the cables, you've got to crawl the cables, you've got to do house shifts. I was lucky. I did at the Oxford Academy, at the O2 Academy in Oxford. In the O2 Academy in Oxford, I also found some great mentors there who really looked after me and taught me how to be an engineer, house and on the artist side, because there's sort of two sides that sometimes that I didn't know about until 2021, where there's the working as a house engineer and working as an artist engineer are just completely different things with completely different personability.
What about travelling then? Because you've been around the world quite a bit here, haven't you? With everything?
Yeah.
Whereabouts have you ended up?
America. It's not that impressive actually.
Okay.
For Christmas I got a globe, and it was like a scratch off where you've been globe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this would be great. And then it was like America, Europe, and then South Korea, and that's kind of it. It's kind of those three.
So, talk to me a little bit about being freelance and the difficulties of that then, because when I started my degree, I think that I probably thought at the age of 19, 20 years old that somebody would pay me a wage one day to be a superstar producer or to be an engineer or whatever it was I was thinking about back then. But of course you're on your own, aren't you, in most of this world that we're trying to get into. So how do you sort of deal with that?
The scariest thing is HMRC, always.
Right, yeah.
Like making sure that I know exactly what like tax I've got to pay.
Yeah.
As like, this is the thing that no one ever teaches anyone.
Yeah, okay.
Freelance or not, it's just you don't. So learning that was boring.
Yeah, of course.
And then just making sure I had any work.
Yeah.
To
you must.
What am I going to do? What am I going to be doing next week? What am I doing next month? What am I doing this summer? What am I doing in autumn? What am I doing over winter? I'm lucky that I've got to have a few months off now, which has been amazing to learn other things that I can kind of delve into things that I'm not so good at.
And the timings of being a freelancer, sometimes you have to say no to gigs because you're too busy, and then other times you've got nothing going on for months. So
it's difficult deciding what you want to sort of be loyal to. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be loyal because of the promise of more work coming up, but then you also have to be wary of the fact that maybe someone just wants you for that day, so they're going to tell you things that they're not going to hold themselves to. Thankfully, I've been lucky where I've worked with amazing people, amazing companies and providers where like they've always done well by me.
Yeah.
Is that how the saying goes?
I think so.
They've done well by me.
Yeah.
I've been able to trust them, basically. I've been able to trust the people I've worked with, and lucky for that.
So you haven't had any missed opportunities then?
I don't think so. I mean, there might be opportunities that I've missed that I don't know about. But I've like Dan said, like in the first few weeks at the start of uni, I've just tried to say yes to everything. Yeah. Whether it's something that I really want to do or not, I've just tried to really. If someone offers me something, I'll always like say yes to it.
Unless I desperately can't. We'll have pieces, yeah. Yeah, that's great. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thanks,
Pete. Really helpful.
Thanks.
Yeah, great.